trying to hop on 2B2T.
We're
Encoding.
about to have our fifth incursion mode tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that video that I sent you about it was hilarious.
Wait, what was-
All right. We ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, let me mute because I feel like I'm.
All right. This week was my pick, and I picked Renaissance
Something awful.
by Aluna. Now, Aluna is the stage name, not even really just the stage name, but just her first name. She's a London-based electronic artist. This is her first solo album. She used to be in a group called ALUNAGEORGE. She collaborated with none other than Popcan, which is huge for us.
You can
We're
remember
huge
that
Popcan
review. That was like
fans.
months and months ago. You remember that?
Fair enough.
I do.
No thoughts.
No thoughts. I'm not even thinking about it at all.
It do not matter.
Doesn't have any questions.
We have no thoughts.
Oh,
Honestly, thought it was a bit of a mixed bag. Songs were like really great, but other ones were like absolute snooze fest. Especially in like the second half of the album. Like 14 tracks was a little long.
I think I agree mostly with what Carlos is saying. I don't think there were any bad songs on the album. Just some that were less interesting than others. There were definitely some good songs. I thought.
There was actually like a lot of like super, I guess we can get into later, but like super highlights for me that were like really. It seemed more like an EP that she kind of fleshed out a little bit into an album.
There were a lot of like weird songs that I thought didn't fit in the album. Like I thought it was gonna be more like poppy or like EDM, but then she like threw in like a trap song in there, and then she also threw in like a reggae inspired song towards the end of the album. I can see what you're saying about the EP. I think if she would have focused on like a one consistent genre and fleshed it out, I think it would have been a better project.
Yeah, I agree. I think this album was supposed to be about like the highs and lows of a relationship, and I think that worked for me because I had some very big highs and some very big lows in the track list. I did think that there was a bunch of really good, catchy, up tempo, like almost club songs, and one of my favorites was the K Tronada on The Recipe. I just thought that had like a great tempo, great progression, just like a lot of his work does. Mm-hmm.
When Rema came on, I initially thought it was Popcan. So it's funny that you mentioned that they did work together.
Mm.
And also, I think she had like a really good vocal performance on this track, and then like the production from K Tronada was just fantastic.
I think that hook was like super catchy. I think, and it was an interesting little word play or like little tongue-in-cheek little message there. I wasn't in love with the. I don't know if it was Rema or K Tronada. One of the features was pretty slow, and I feel like that happened in a couple of songs on. Or there was only like 2 songs with like multiple features, but it felt like not all the features were created equal.
I think Get Paid is the one with a bunch of the features. But that one, I agree with Victor. I felt like as soon as like after Aluna did her thing and then the features started coming on, the kind of momentum just.
But I felt like in this album, the features weren't a real big factor. None of them were like so great that they were, stand out so far. None of them were really so bad that they were like turning you so off. They just felt like
there wasn't really that many features either. Like, I don't know, this seemed like with the posse cuts, if you want to call them that, it seems like it's like a trend in pop to be more like rap, like have a bunch of features. But there actually wasn't really that many. There was like Recipe, Get Paid,
like the last one.
Well, there's Warrior, Get Paid, Recipe.
Warrior, right?
Yeah. I was definitely disappointed in most of the features, except Jada Kingdom. The last verse on Get Paid, that verse was like the flow on that song. Like every time that came on, it was so exciting, electric, smooth. I don't know. That was like one of the coolest flows I've ever heard this year. From Jada Kingdom, but
Off Guard, which is like the trappier song. I feel like I got a lot of like Travis Scott vibes from that. I think it kind of like made me want to hear them two work together after hearing that song.
Yeah, the intro to that sounded like it was gonna go like a different direction than it ended up going. It felt like way more like sad, like Marvin's Room type beat, and then it exploded a little more. Which I think that's like I wouldn't have like pinned it as that, but I can definitely see what you're saying.
I really liked a lot of the floaty like intros. He does reuse like the same sort of structures a lot, and like on a song like Off Guard, like I didn't think it was super catchy, but I do like floaty vocals, like on a song like Sneak or Don't Hit My Line or numerous songs. There's sections with floatier vocals. I think the trap drum worked fine. It's just I don't really feel like she earned or needed some different kind of drumming. It was just kind of like, all right, like why?
Speaking of intros, I thought the intro to Sneak was like sick. I loved like her vocals, and then the bass line when it cut out was just her, the bass line in the back. I thought that was awesome. That was one of
Yeah,
my
like the
favorite
bass
parts.
line
of
on
it.
that song a
really
lot.
good, but the bass
Yeah.
lines are like so good on these songs.
That one and MVS really stood out for me. Like just the bass lines. Like they're still stuck in my head right now.
Yeah, one problem that I have, I feel like a lot of the mixes on these songs were like kind of dry and like weren't as full. Because like in a dance song, you hear the drop or whatever, and it's like, but I feel like a lot of the mixes, it didn't seem as full, especially on some of the floatier songs later. But even on a song like Sneak, which I thought was super catchy, I mean, like the hook on that song was such a jump up in quality from like the first couple of songs.
I actually like the mixing in most of the album. I think maybe they were trying to go for closer to like an organic sound with like, you know, as if someone is actually playing the bass, which is very possibly the case.
I only listened to this album in headphones. Maybe I should give this a listen through like speakers in a bigger room. I thought overall the mixing was good, except for in Warrior. Victor said like Sneak was really, when the album started getting good, it was interesting because I thought like I'm starting to love the things I hate was like an okay opening. And then like Warrior, I thought like it was just like super compressed and like the chorus was just drowned out and like synths by the mix.
I didn't like the lyrics on Warrior. Like, I want a warrior fight with you. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, I didn't quite connect with that one. But Rhetoric, something like that.
Like some of the lyrics were really catchy, like on Recipe, Get Paid was decent. I think Sneak and Don't Hit My Line especially, which we can get to after. But yeah, I think some of the lyrics, especially the first song, was terrible lyrics to me. It was like, sweet, sweet jealousy. It like that song was so bland. Like when I first time I heard this album, oh no, is this album gonna be like this bland?
Yeah, that song that was like a little scary.
It
It sounded like a Teen Nick theme song, like a Victorious type theme song.
She kind of has that vibe a lot throughout this record. Like a lot of these songs I can see being played on the radio, or like I'm just waiting for one of these songs to blow up on TikTok. Like
I found that most of the songs, if not all of the songs, are not really pushing the envelope like at all. That are safe. They're not bad.
One that stuck out to me, like I think that kind of popped out of the track list, the Don't Hit My Line song. I think that had a lot of airy feel to it, and I really liked her vocals on that song. That was probably my favorite vocal delivery of hers.
I like the vocals on just about every song. I think she has a nice voice and she, you know, sings well. This song in particular just didn't really interest me. It just felt like nothing new was really happening. It was just like another dance song.
Yeah, I like some of the ideas in this song. I thought some of the flows were cool, kind of uninspired, slow and marchy, and like I'm a badass. Like, don't hit my line, I don't need you.
I'm siding with Victor on this one. This is another highlight for me. It was like a kind of like a low-key bop. Again, how Victor mentioned, she kind of just like flows over the beat. I really like her flow on this one. A little disappointed by like the hook. Like it was kind of just like a piano loop, and the drums were really good on this track as well.
Scott mentioned with the lyrics, I think that this song, like she's sort of trying to like break away and make a name for herself. It's her first album, and this is sort of like badass or whatever. Like, because I think she makes attempts at that in other songs. Like Get Paid's more lighthearted, but it's more general. I think Don't Hit My Line's a little bit more pointed. And then there's also the Body Pump song, which I did actually think that was really catchy. But then the end of the song, she's like, don't be mad at me for being different, or whatever, you know. She's like, I want to be different, don't make me ashamed.
I'm pretty sure that was the lead single too, was Body Pump, which is interesting to me, just because like that song, like it didn't stand out any more than decently good songs did. Like I think for me, Sneak, Envious, and The Recipe were the like biggest like standouts.
Oh, we're already on to the favorite songs. Shit, all right. This is gonna be unpopular opinion. I liked the last two songs a lot, Surrender and Whistle.
Boo, boo, get out. No.
Yeah, all right, I'll leave. I actually like those more because they didn't feel so much like the pop trap Recipe. You know, like someone was saying they didn't like Surrender, so these are going to be like...
Yeah, I didn't like Surrender.
Shot
I did
down,
like Whistle.
It felt like they were more soulful. Surrender was kind of like an Amy Winehouse song, but a little bit darker. I think like groovier maybe.
Yeah.
And Whistle felt a little different than just the usual formula.
Surrender, I liked the building elements of it with like the piano. It felt a little less synthy, a little less dancey, but I was not a fan of her vocal delivery because I was like, she's not really living up to the Amy Winehouse. And honestly, in most points of the album, when she's not doing like a more laid back delivery, which I think she does very well, like when she's trying to just do like a sort of generalist, like pop vocal that you hear on the radio, it's just like I just didn't really care for it at all.
Well, I mean, you're setting a very high bar with Amy Winehouse.
No, well, she doesn't have to be as good as Amy Winehouse, but like she's sort of copying her type of vocal delivery, and I just didn't think like even she was just like an average vocalist. Like she wasn't very exciting to me when she's going for this like regular type of delivery.
What song? Ain't My Business or something. There was this like cool like offbeat triplet thing. The dun, 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 dun. That one. I don't remember which song. Maybe it was in some earlier song. But there were some cool little.
Oh yeah, no, that's Ain't My Business. Yeah.
Like instrumental pieces throughout the album that I thought were interesting. That always got my attention when I heard them.
Your poster, I don't think that's a How to Train Your Dragons one, is it?
This one? It's Monsters vs. Aliens.
I thought that's what it was. Yeah. I looked up at Carlos's screen and he's just.
Victor, can you ask us a rhetorical question?
We just grow over it. Explicitly lay it out there.
Yeah,
rhetorically,
We gotta stretch this to 10 minutes so we get our head ready.
My two favorites was, I guess, Don't Hit My Line and Sneak were my two favorites. Just mad catchy, mad fire. And my least favorite was...
Those are not deep cuts.
I guess was Love the Things I Hate. I guess it was the intro.
Favorites, gimme Sneak, and gimme Don't Hit My Line. And these favorites, Surrender.
Damn. Favorites. I think I'm gonna take Sneak and Surrender. And then I'll cut the intro, the Love All the Things I Hate.
I'm gonna be pretty normie here and say Sneak for my favorites and The Recipe. Again, normie with the intro. And if I had to cut another one,
we don't have to. So
yeah, but if I do,
so if I wanted to cut another one,
probably Whistle.
What?
Whistle, babe. Wait, what was that song? Like by Flo Rida?
Can you blow my whistle, babe?
All right, closing arguments.
Yeah. Closing remarks. We'll open up to the Q&A
conclusion,
session.
I am pro-life because I would say that there are some incredibly catchy songs. It doesn't stick to the dance. It doesn't stick to the pop. It doesn't really make a complete album project. So I'm going to say that it is a 5.
Nevertheless,
Aluna Renaissance is a bit of a mixed bag for me. Different genres inside of it, which I still don't like. I thought there were some really good grooves and bops that you can hear play anywhere, which I really enjoyed, but there are also like some really snoozy, boring songs. I'm going to give this a 5.5.
Better parts of the album. There were some less great parts of the album. I thought overall it was enjoyable. It was palatable, easy to listen to. I think I'm also going to give it a 5 flat out of 10.
I think she's got a lot to offer. I think this is a good place to build from. I think there's a lot here that is good. Really, really good songs that I loved and I've listened to again for sure. Some absolute Papa Benadryl sleepers in there. I'm going to give it a 5.8 out of 10.
Thanks for watching.
All right.
We're back from our
Thanks for watching.
hiatus.
Aluna.
Leave a comment with how many weeks before we release the next video. See if you can guess it now.
Over, under, parlay.
Whoever guesses it gets a shout out.
And remember to use promo code Chatmonster5
when you buy Netflix.
Yep.
Right?
AdamandEve.com.
Chatmonster5.
AdamandEve.com. Check it out.
Q&A.
Dude.
Sometimes we're not prepared for adversity.